All right, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, your favorite villain, and today I'm here with my lawyer, GB. If you want to say what's up.
Ye-
Yeah, so back in town, back at it, getting active. I was out of town for work. Got back a little early, decided to go ahead and finish up this Cosmic Thor versus Raiden video. And I realized, going into this, that I had a bias for Thor. Um, But after going back a second time, rereading all his stuff, and then rereading Composite Raiden stuff, come to the conclusion of who wins. So what we really need to do in this video, because I've made a video on both individuals already, we got an update on Thor from number 6, and it didn't help. So it didn't really change anything, and we're going to kind of explain why Cosmic Thor, even though he should technically be a top 2 strongest Thor all time, it's just not adding up for him to win, and we'll explain why that actually can be the case without contradicting. So, GB, do you want to kind of go over what we found when we went back?
All right, so going back over the Thor series, over the Thor run, the problem with Thor essentially is that despite the scaling that we can apply to the character, there's so many there's so many universal statements. And it's to the point where like it's not like you can interpret it like, oh well, he means multiversal or he means uh whatever, hyperversal or whatever. It's not where you can interpret it that way. He's literally stated universe so many times, whether it's the author, whether it's Thor, whether it's the Black Winter itself. It's stated so many times throughout the just six issues over 17 statements, 14 scans in total of universal statements. And it's to the point where it's hard to argue with that. Like, what am I gonna do every time I pull up a feat for Thor? It's gonna have the term universal written on it. Like, what am I gonna do? Get semantical with every single scan? That's ridiculous. That's a pain. It's like you're gonna have to jump. You're gonna jump through more hoops arguing that he's not universal than you would just accepting he's universal. So it's ultimately is bad writing, but I mean, I don't know. It's a lot of statement. It's
That
really a
that
lot.
see, the argument is a lot easier inverse, because I feel like inverse we can definitely consider narrative a lot more when deciding who would win a match. Because narratively, this story definitely is presented as one of the strongest stories we've ever seen. Like me and GB both agree that someone like a Rune King Thor would slap the hell out of Raiden. But the issue is Rune King Thor had feats. It was just as short of a run, but he had real feats with real scaling attached to it. Donnie Cates, what he's doing is he literally had one scan. And by the way, for the people watching at home, I'm literally going through the scans we have and why they're considered what they are. But he consistently would either use hyperbole or contradict himself in same scans. Like there's this one scan I found where literally in the same panel, not even the page, just one panel, he had 3 statements about one action. One put it at star level, one put it at universal, one put it at outerversal. And it's like, dude, how do you do that in one panel? So like it's narratively, sure, yes, this definitely looks really good narratively for Thor, but we're doing a cross versus battle, so narrative isn't going to hold merit here because Thor's not writing the story like that. It just
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I'm going through all sections. So multi galaxy, sure, we found a couple. Definitely hard to downplay him to multi galaxy. You definitely, the good thing for upset Marvel fans you can get out of this is that you can't get them below Universal. That's disingenuous. Um,
Yeah.
like that would be a little crazy. By the way, for those that think the statement about Galactus being the strongest version ever applies to Lifebringer Galactus. That's actually not the case because Living Tribunal reset things, and Galactus doesn't remember all versions of him. Just so people are aware of that. Because, I don't want someone coming, oh, he beat you, Lifebringer. Like, nah, he probably doesn't remember Lifebringer anyway. And that would just be one assumption out of 17 cases where it's stated universal.
Yeah.
And then for Outerversal, I think it was 5. Multiversal, they have 2. They have 1 for sure statement, and then 2, and then another one that's like, I interpreted it as multiversal because he said all his fates were being broken. There's even a continental one where he states that he hit a being who's going to consume the universe with a blast so strong it would blow up a continent. That's what we're dealing with this writing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not anyone trying to downplay the verse or downplay Thor. It's just Donny Cates is like, just in terms of the wordage he uses in the feats, he's, yes, narratively, he's following, but not feats at all. It's just, it's not being applied enough.
And I want to say, like, before we get on, like, I want to say that the story itself isn't saving the writing. Like, the story's not worth what he's doing to these characters. Like, the way he's ruining Galactus, this story is not worth what he's doing to Galactus as a character. The damage he's doing to Galactus as a character in the story is terrible. Like, the story's just not that good. It's okay, but it's like bad fan service. It's not that good.
I mean, in one excerpt he wrote in the beginning of, I think, issue 1, he admitted he's writing this as a fan. Which, isn't wrong. Like, dude, I would love the chance to write as a fan for a lot of characters. Like, that's a dream for a lot of people. So I definitely don't blame him for that. But he's not considering everybody else except Thor. Like, it's quite obvious he's a Thor fan.
Yeah.
Thor beat up Galactus about 72 different times. And you're right. I mean, it's interesting, I guess, as a story, but I like Galactus as a concept. I've liked him for a long time. And just the way he was constantly being just abused and coming off as incredibly weak was terrible. That's just not consistently, because he's supposed to be a impartial, universal constant. And they made him come across as a fearful, whiny, scared individual, which is stupid.
Like, in past arcs, if Galactus is scared about something, then it's a big deal. But now it's like, oh, I'm scared, but Thor can deal with it. Like, it was...
All right, think about it this way.
It just ruined it.
Classic Galactus was, like, starving, ran into the Phoenix Force. I was like, oh, my God, this bitch.
Yeah.
And that's the Phoenix Force who would bolo Raiden. But this Galactus from this story literally got kneecapped by Thor. Thor hit him in the knee, took his knee out like a mobster, and then took his power from him like 3 times. And when you look at stuff for Raiden when it comes to lore, he's constantly dealing with beings that are stated to be from the void, beyond everything. He casually negged Blast that had the power of big bangs. He has blinding techniques. He can manipulate fate, time itself, even when heavily suppressed. He can combat beings who, in the old novels, were stated to be able to destroy all dualities. So he just has so much stuff going for him in terms of lore from a composite standpoint that put him well above Universal consistently. So in terms of this battle for Cosmic Thor, unfortunately, because most of his juice relies on narrative, he takes the L here, in my opinion. I don't know what you think, GB, but what do you think?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think he takes the L. I think a lot of other versions of not only Rune King Thor, I think a lot of other versions of Thor that are written better in better stories, that are presented better with better scaling, where the cosmology doesn't suffer so much from a terrible writer. Um, I think that a lot of Thors would beat Raiden, or give like a composite Raiden a good fight, if
All,
not beat.
Also, for anyone trying to hype up the Black Winter itself stated it wasn't even the strongest in the own Marvel verse. Like, wasn't
Yeah,
even the heavier hitter among them. So he's not that whole, oh, he consumed a DC universe. He consumed a verse that referenced DC. Stop it with the whole, oh yeah, that was a DC verse. Now, do you think they're sending Batman to fight the guy that could consume someone who's beyond the source wall? Stop. Like, really? You don't think Darkseid's going to get active? Like, even the bad guys
yeah,
at that point would be like, yo, I don't know who's coming through. But, like, Darkseid didn't take nothing from Perpetual.
yeah.
Like,
Darkseid just was like he blocked her. He Facebook blocked her.
yeah, like, people need to realize that, like, in major events like that, like, notice in this event for Marvel, it's Galactus and Thor. You know, it's not Captain America and Iron Man. You know,
Yeah,
it's beings on that are supposed to be on a higher level, because this isn't a regular Thor. This is a retired Thor, who, like, the big threats regular heroes face are a joke to him. That's literally established in, like, the first damn arc. But anyways, guys, we got Raiden winning this one. If anything changes to where the run he gets a lot stronger, we'll revisit this. But as of now, it's too much narrative based, not enough feats based, which is what really matters. So, anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you, GB, for coming on. It's been your favorite villain. Make sure to check out memberships. Check out my Twitter. I just made a Twitter for the channel. Anyways, it's been your favorite villain. I'll see y'all later. Peace.